But there are women out there selling their bodies without any cash transactions, but they're selling them for different things. Okay? So let's not look down at the women who are selling their bodies to men in the night for cash when there are women who are literally giving their bodies away to men for promotions, right? And that's not against the women, right? Because obviously it's the men that are doing these things. But I'm talking about the women just now, right? When women think they can get in a fucking class of their own and think they can point fingers at each other, right? So all I'm saying is, if you're a middle class cunt, right, and you've done something that you know you don't want anybody to know you've done in order to climb that social ladder, right, they'll fucking point your finger at any working class woman that had to do the fucking same.
Amanda, I'm not sure I agree with you on that. Um, what, why do you think that the middle class women are cunts for doing something that working class women are doing for money? I don't, I don't, I
No,
don't.
it's about the double standard and putting the other
What?
women down because what they're doing is visible and what some middle class women are doing is invisible. So they feel like they can put the other women down because they're living in glass houses, aren't they?
And then those women who are
Are
prostituted
you, are
end up
you
with a
talking?
criminal record, and yet
Sorry,
the women who are shagging the bosses who make their way up don't get a criminal record.
sorry, I was distracted. Are you talking about perception then?
I'm not talking about perception, I'm talking about reality and life, okay? Women, no, I'm not saying women who are middle class. What I am saying is when people point their fingers at other women who do things that they need to do, okay, when they're in the worst situations, the worst poverty, they've got fucking no way out, whatever it is, and they might turn to sex work, right? And then you've got middle class people or upper class people or even the same class as you pointing their finger at you, telling you you're horrible, you're this, you're that, you're this, right? But yet we've got women in professional jobs who we know, because you feminists go on about it all the fucking time, right? That you're always getting sexually fucking assaulted in your work by men, and you have to do this in order to get a promotion because of the patriarchy, etc., etc. So you can't then, right? So I'm not talking about the patriarchy because I don't give a fuck about the theory and all this because I've lived it, okay? I've seen it. So I've been at work and I've been touched up and all the rest of it. I've never shagged somebody in order to get above, but I've had the
No,
opportunity.
there.
No, let me finish. But I've had the
Okay.
opportunity, right? Many, 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 many times, right? But I will not let a man fondle me in order for me to climb a ladder. I won't step on anybody, not a woman, not a child, not a man, not anybody. Hence the reason most people hate me, because I just say everything I say on my own account. So, yes, I know there's a lot of fucking women who have went out to work and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this job and that job. And they have done things, right, that they wouldn't want anybody to know in order for them. They've had to do things that men didn't have to do in order to get into the positions that they are in. And then they sit there with their 50 grand a year or their 100 grand a year looking down at everybody else. What I'm saying is, unless your own fucking hands are clean, don't point the finger at anybody else, and especially don't punch down, because most of these fucking idiots. We've got Boris Johnson was running the place, and they're all having a fucking. I mean, come on, fuck, right? Let's get a grip here.
I guess I don't know who you're talking about, who it is that's punching down, or who it is that's
Well, maybe you don't. I think everybody else kind of knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll just break it down with a little example. So I'm domestic, and over there next door to me lives foreign. That's just our names. We're both women, 27-year-old women, right? Um, I'm really skint and not very well educated. So I haven't been to uni. It's really hard for me to get a job. Am I even trying? I don't know. I might have a bit of a drug addict, substance abuse issue, or at trauma issues, just things, that might keep you from moving forward in the way that you'd hope. And I end up falling into prostitution to pay the rent, right? And all my neighbours know because I have them coming around my house, the punters. Yeah, so all the neighbours know about it, so they can all look down on me. But Foreign, who lives next door, she's got a mediocre job down Quick Save or whatever, and her. So everyone's like, "Oh, look at Foreign, gets up at 8 every morning, goes off to work," but she's not actually earning more than me, who's having 25 punters in the house at a daytime or whatever. And she wants to earn as much as me or more. So nobody knows that she slept with that buck-tooth, ugly cunt, stinking manager. And now she's a manager of her own little Quick Save franchise. So she can join in with the rest of the neighbours, pointing at me, going, "Oh, look at that old prosy," because nobody knows how she stepped up. That's what I'm talking about, is that when they do it invisible, they shouldn't be turning around and throwing stones at the ones who they could see doing it out in the open. That's what Amanda's trying to say.
Thank you, Domestic. You can say it so much better than me. Thank you.
Are you on the same page, Fruella?
No, not exactly. But it's fine.
But that's okay. Like,
It's
but that's okay because
it's absolutely fine. No, we're
that's what we said. This space was a nice small space where we can actually
yeah.
bounce ideas off the wall. So if we disagree, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
I'm really, really happy to disagree, and it's fine. And I don't necessarily disagree. I still don't fundamentally understand the point you're trying to make about whether or not
Well,
whether
hopefully someone's recorded this space,
yeah.
because it sounds like you're willfully not misunderstanding.
Oh, really? Okay. There's several other listeners, so I'm sure they're recording it. And no, I'm not willfully misunderstanding. I don't quite agree with your point that there are different levels of knowing whether or not you're exploited, and I don't necessarily need to be patronized, but I respect you all, and
We
I'm
weren't talking about knowing whether or not you were exploited. We're talking about some people doing the same actions behind closed doors, pointing the finger at others doing the same actions just because they can, because nobody knows that they're also doing it.
okay. I think what's happening is that
I.e. Boris Johnson,
yeah,
we were all
think
fucking locked
I
up,
think you're
right? And
talking
he's
about
snorting cocaine off the toilet and getting fucking pissed. And Prince Philip was supposed to be dying,
yeah.
right? And they're all having a fucking party, right? There you go, there's your difference. Why were they not jailed for, first of all, breaking the rules? Second of all, taking cocaine. Third of all, where did they get it? Where was their dealer, right? These questions are never asked. This is the difference. It's a class issue.
I agree 100% with all of those points, but you were talking about uh, prostitutes who were doing it through a need, and you're also talking about more upper class people. So we're not talking
Yeah,
about
I think, right,
we're
what?
not talking
No, I was
like for
talking
like.
about this.
With Boris Johnson
Well,
and the
no, hold on a
hypocrisy,
minute.
I
No,
agree.
Fruella.
Go.
Like for like, we are like prostitutes and other people are still like for like because we're all fucking humans and most of all, we're all fucking women. So this is my main point. It's about the women, okay? So us as women have to do certain things that men don't have to do.
I
So
agree.
the lower
Yeah.
class women who don't have the amount of opportunities, right, that other different classes of women will have, okay? So you might need to do prostitution to feed your kids, right? Are you going to tell me that middle class women or whatever you want to call it, right? I don't know what you call it, right? You're trying to tell me that all these educated women or whatever it is that are getting into politics and trying to do their career and do law and all the rest of it. You're trying to tell me every single one of them gets there because they're such a good lawyer or such a good actress. No, because we've already fucking known about it because we've got the Me Too movement, okay? Where we already know that they're all fucking told and they're all trafficked and the women are all fucking abused in order to get a job and to get on TV. And so are the young boys. Not so much when they're grown men, but when they're young boys. So it's women, again, it's women and children. So if lower class women have to do what they have to do, middle class women do it as well, and so do upper class women. That is the point we were trying to say, right? Don't start fucking pointing fingers at MD. We're all women, right? And at the end of the day, we all do what we have to do to survive in this fucking world.
We're saying the same thing. No one is pointing fingers. No one is calling anyone upper class, middle class, lower class, or anything. I think we're all saying that women are taking shit no matter what happens. So I really don't understand, Amanda, that
Well,
we're,
you were the one that
we're
said to me, I disagree with you. So what do you disagree
yeah,
with?
because you were saying that it's only a certain class of women that has to take the shit. And I
No,
disagree
I
because
think
I
that's the
think
way
No,
you
when
it's
you
only
were
a
saying
certain
that
class of women who point the finger. That's what she's saying.
if this discussion is about targeted
Well,
at
no,
certain
you said we were agreeing, right? And then you said we're agreeing, but I'm like, right, okay, we're agreeing, but the whole reason we had this conversation is because you said I don't agree with you, and I said that's fine, respectfully, don't agree with me. We can, and now you're saying you agree with me, so it's you. What are you disagreeing with?
I was agreeing with some things and disagreeing with some things. Well, we've been talking for a few minutes now, but it seems to me
Well,
that
you need to make your mind up though, because one minute you don't agree with anything, then you agree with everything. Now you agree with some of it. Am I annoying
because
you because I'm pulling you up? Like, I'm just asking you a question. One minute you were agreeing with nothing, then you were agreeing with everything. Now you're agreeing with some of it. I don't know what
because
the fucking problem is. If I ask a question, people always get dead fucking annoyed.
because we were both talking for so long, there were so many points made. So yes, I can agree with some things and not others. Surely you understand that, Amanda?
Okay.
I'd like to ask now what everyone else thinks about, particularly Fruella, as I feel like perhaps you might understand the Radfems better than some of us. What everyone else thinks about bundling prostitutes in with transvestites as if they're like the same category. But I'm referring to a post where I commented on earlier that one of the Radfems said that GCs are not my people. I'm over here with the prostitutes and transvestites, as if women are the same category as transvestites if they happen to be prostitutes. What does everyone think of that?